Hello, my name's Tom Carhill and it's Sunday the 15th of December 2014. This video is just a little bit of an update. Yesterday I put up a video about Mr. and Mrs. Mr. and Mrs. Spivey, the two foul-mouthed, obnoxious, aggressive degenerates who say that they're in the alternative media and the truth movement, both of which names I would never use because they're both incredibly pretentious for one, and only counterintelligence operatives seem to use that type of terminology because it's a bit too obvious. You know, you don't need to be in a movement to tell the truth about something. But anyway, I shall explain. About 2 or 3 days before the video I did, the Kent Freedom Movement, and particularly Deborah Williams, put up a quite lengthy piece of work which detailed blow for blow all of the many lies that Danielle or Danielle George, as she used to be called, has told over the last 6 months. And the thing with Debbie, it also goes back before that, because before then, this Danielle was pretending that she was a agoraphobic, and she was claiming benefit, and she was getting by on benefit. And then all of a sudden, she's posted a passport on the internet. And in 2012, when she's saying she's agoraphobic and scared of traffic lights, yeah, she's gone and fucked up and put a picture of her passport photo, which proves she is 35. I did think she was 35, so she's not actually lying about that. But I don't really know how she's managed not to lie about her age, because I would have thought she'd probably have lied about that as well. But she does look 35, doesn't she? I suppose, even with all the probable Botox and the massive amount of makeup she wears all the time. Anyway, yeah, she's put I forget what country it is, but she's clearly gone on holiday in May of 2012, and now she's scared of traffic lights. She's agoraphobic. She says she's on the benefit, and she's got 2 children, and she's a single mother. So what's she doing jetting off to North Africa on holiday? I forget which country it is, but it's somewhere like, not Tunisia, it's somewhere like Marrakesh. It's Marrakesh, that's what it is. Well, anyway, and she's very angry at the fact that Deborah Williams has put this, and her boyfriend Eddie has helped put this very, very articulate, very, very measured, not in any way offensive. It's just pointing out all the blatant contradictions that she's said over the last 6 months, and how she's a complete liar, and just asking her to explain all of her lies, which obviously she can't. And it's actually got lots of hits. I believe it's got about 2,000, maybe 3,000 hits on it in about 4 days. So, you know, it's very, very good. Also, the video I did, I think it's got like almost 600 hits now, from sort of probably a day and a day, like 24, what do you call it, like probably a day and a half of a, what do you call it, not full, I don't know, a day, like a 24 hours and then a half a day ago I put it up, and I've got like 600 hits already. So the thing is, anyway, the thing was very measured. It wasn't offensive. Didn't call her any names. Didn't accuse her of being working for the Jewish subversive agenda. Didn't call her a pro-paedophile agent. Didn't accuse her of any of those things, all of which I have done, because she is. And it also didn't really say anything that was unkind, which wasn't just saying she's basically a degenerate and she's, you know, it's very clear what she's up to, but it was actually very measured, and it was very conservative, and it didn't reflect what people actually think of her, as I said. And it was very articulate in that it's had links to all the videos, and it also said at what time she'd said these things. And for instance, one of the good things it pointed out is the fact that she was saying, yeah, she was going, you know, this new child abuse thing. Her and Spivey are both now saying that their children are going to be taken away from, or hinting it. And she has been going on about this thing about social services taking people's children away. And then all of a sudden, about 2 weeks ago, she says, oh yeah, actually they came round to my house 2 years ago, and they were going to take them away because they got my number wrong at school and they phoned me and I wasn't there. And she's made this bullshit story up about how she just, like, almost like she hasn't said I forgot to say. She just didn't say it when she's talking about the social services. And then she's also said that social services, she knows loads, and I use the words loads, that's a verbatim quote, of people she knows have had the social services come round because they've told teachers, you must not tell my children this and you must not tell them that. Now, how she'd know loads of people who would be saying things like that if she's also saying that nobody she speaks to really is into anything like the things that she's apparently into, which she isn't into, so she obviously doesn't know what she's talking about. It's all complete nonsense anyway. So, you know, as Mark Twain said, you know, you've got to be careful about getting into an argument with a stupid person, because they'll get you down to their level and they'll beat you with experience. So, you know, you have, you know, and only an imbecile tries to, you know, psychoanalyze an imbecile. I think that definitely applies to her, even though she's got, I don't know, several hundred IQ points or whatever she says she's got. Or maybe she has. I question that. But anyway, this is what she sent to Debbie. She said, "Deborah, I'm just making you aware that I've passed on the article you produced about me to a very good solicitor friend of mine, and I'm suing you and Eddie and the Kent Freedom Movement. I'm also taking further steps of which you are getting no prior warning." Right now, if she's on benefit and she says she's never got a penny for any of her recent work, she calls it work, by the way, she always calls it work, she's consistent on that, how's she going to get a solicitor to act on her behalf, right? It's coming up to Christmas. Now, I've been concerned that she seems to spend a bit too much money on wigs and makeup and probably Botox. It does look like Botox, but, you know, I'm not positive. She could just have so much makeup on it looks like Botox. But if she's got 2 little kids and she's normally a single mother, what on earth is she doing travelling all around the country, wasting all the money on going up to do truth juice and stuff, when she should be spending it on her children, because that's what that money's for. It's not for her to spend on makeup and wigs and going around the country. And, you know, if you take your kids with you as well on the train or whatever it is, you know, it mounts up. It's quite expensive. Anyway, so as I said, I don't believe a word of anything she says, as I've said in the past. She's a complete liar. But I'll just read it again, just in case you didn't catch it. I believe, well, you'll probably be able to see this on Deborah's, or the Kent Freedom Movement's Facebook page. That's where I found it. So anyway, it says, "Deborah, I'm just making you aware that I've passed on the article you produced about me to a very good solicitor friend of mine, and I'm suing you and Eddie and the Kent Freedom Movement. I'm also taking further steps of which you are getting no prior warning." Right? I was just reading. I know why I wanted to read it twice, because I've missed a bit off the bottom. "I hope it was worth being ruined for." Right? And she sent that today, I think 5 o'clock UK time. Right? So that's particularly malicious and not very nice. Now, you've got to remember here that everything Debbie said is quoting things she said. So for a start off, it's not going to go very far. Right now, if she's got no money, you can't get legal aid to sue people for defamation, right? You can't get any legal aid for that. So she's not going to sue her unless she gets money off her boss, Brian Gerrish, or someone like Ian Puddick, or someone like that. They might put them in touch with someone. Obviously, I don't think they will. Now, you've got to remember that I've said much worse things about her. All true. I believe they're all true. I wouldn't have said them if I didn't think they were true. And also, this is Danielle George, she's threatened me with violence before. She said I'm a paedophile. She said I'm mentally ill. She said I'm a cunt. She said she's coming after me. She's going to finish me. She's got a friend, this idiot called Thomas Sheridan, who's like a habitual sex pest of women, who tries to get into them by pretending he's an expert on psychopaths, and says that if this finger here is shorter than that finger there, then that means someone's a psychopath. Now, most men, if you look at your fingers, right, this finger here will be shorter than that finger, because it's actually one of the best, most reliable ways to tell him whether you're looking at a man or a woman is by their fingers, like transvestites and stuff. It's a giveaway. And the thing is, he sent something on her wall. This is Danielle George's wall last week, saying he's contacted this French company, pipeline company called Speakerbag, and he's got to their HR department, and he sent a video in there of me abusing animals, right? And what it is, so he's contacting this company in France. I mean, obviously, you see, this is the thing. In terms of criminal harassment, she hangs around with Ian Puddick. He's been notified not to harass me. Now, of course, Ian doesn't know whether he's coming or going, right? And he said that I've harassed him, and he's had to get the police to stop me harassing him in the past. He's published this numerous times. But he's also gone round to my parents' house and said that I've said that he's a paedophile. And their response was, well, all right, okay. and they didn't actually say. They told me, they said they didn't ask him if he was a paedophile, which they should have done. But they said, "Oh, come in. Show us where it is." He couldn't show them, and he just went on about all this other rambling nonsense. Now, with him being a sneaky, secret undercover agent, probably he was recording everything to try and catch him out to say something. So in lots of ways, they shouldn't really let him in the house. But you see, they told him, they said, "Look, if you think that coming round to our house and telling us that Tom said something and that coming round here is going to sort of somehow discourage him from just saying it more, you're very much mistaken. You really haven't got your facts straight. He's just going to do whatever it is you don't want him to more. We'll have a little look. Tell us where it is and we'll look for it if you haven't got it on your phone." And they looked for it. They couldn't find it. And they wrote back to him and said the same day. And they said, "Where is it? We've been looking for ages. We can't find anything." And Ian just started, he basically got back to them and said, "Oh, thank you for your hospitality, blah, blah, blah." And he goes, "Oh, I'm not concerned about me. I'm concerned about Bill and Maria Maloney, better known as Bill and Maria Baloney. They're the two other pro-paedophile agents who are currently acting as kind of gatekeepers, and they basically mop up child abuse victims who come to them because they are getting promoted by the establishment. And then they quash their cases. And, like, for instance, some of them have been filmed talking about abuse by various VIPs, and he's just sat on the videos. So this is the kind of thing Ian's up to. He's involved with her, right? Brian Gerrish is involved with her via Lou Collins. As I said, I think they're all working for the Jewish subversive agenda. They're pro-paedophile, they're pro-EU, and they're just pro, basically, the destruction of England. A lot of people say that, it's, you've hit the mark there. But the funny thing about it is that with this Leverity character, is as she's going for people like Debbie and Eddie, it's quite clear what she thinks is. She thinks, "Oh, right, well, never mind the person who said that I'm a pro-paedophile activist and I'm a Jewish subversive and that all my little gang are Jewish subversives. What we'll do is we'll go for somebody who's just said that I'm lying all the time and just pointed it out in a kind of articulate format where people can see it." So there's absolutely no way she can sue them. So I'll get this straight, right? She's threatened me with violence in the past on more than one occasion. She's got numerous people constantly threatening me with violence. Or they're saying I'm too scared to come back to England. I'm not in England because I wasn't working in England. That's why I'm not in England. She's also said that, I'm a paedophile. And then she said I'm mentally ill. She's got people to say that I've been sectioned before. Ian Puddick's made similar inferences. He said that I'm mentally ill and that he actually got my parents to get me to take stuff down. My parents didn't even phone me. I had to find out off my brother about a week later. I thought, just before I tell people he hasn't gone round there, I better check. Mum said, "Oh no, this big lanky puff did come round. He wasn't wearing makeup. No, he wasn't wearing makeup. He did dye his hair. And he did have really greasy skin." They said he had greasy skin, but that was all they said about him. He was very, very apologetic and sort of sycophantic. And I said, "Yeah, well, that's definitely him, So the thing is that they're going to extraordinarily but extremely ineffective lengths to try and, you've got to go horses for courses. If you've got a son who's on the other side of the world working, and then you send a big lanky puff round to his house, who starts claiming to say that I've said he's a pedo. I mean, how the fuck is that going to work? It's not going to work. And the fact that I've caught onto the fact that Ian's Twitter trial is all absolute bullshit, and it's all completely inconsistent. He can't even get his own story straight about it. And he's also got someone to name him. I believe it's someone who knows a Star journalist to put him on the list of hacking victims on the hacking trial. The fact that he Brian Harvey tells me that he's Brian Harvey of East 17 says that he phoned him up and goes, "All right, Brian, if you need any names or addresses or registration numbers and find out who they are, or the other way round, I can get them for you. No problem, Brian." Brian was like, "What? What are you talking about?" He thinks he's a secret agent. I mean, if the Jews can't do better, if they can't do better than getting Ian Puddick as their version of James Bond, I mean, God help them. I mean, he's probably the most dangerous man. He's probably the most dangerous man who the Jews in England have got to fear at the minute. I really do think he is. I don't think there's been a more dangerous man to Jews than him. I just don't think there is. I think he's so detrimental. He's so dangerous. He also denies that he's a Jew. And Funnily enough, also this weekend I found out something else about him. He's got this plumbing business called Leakbusters. Now, I've openly accused that of being a front for, like, you know, funding intelligence activities. And, you know, Michael Dougherty and him have got lots of links to Carter Ruck. Not Carter Ruck, Guy Carpenter, the big insurance firm, who had the guy working for them who apparently got Ian charged for harassment. And this is the basis of his main claim to fame, this bullshit story about it just doesn't make any sense. Right, well, it turns out that Michael Dougherty's firm, which has got dissolved without any accounts filed, that if you type in the postcode and put Guy Carpenter, he's got it registered in the city. So he's making out he's this activist. So why has he got a limited company? Why hasn't he filed any accounts? And why has it been dissolved like midway through last year? And he never told anyone. Now, you've got to remember, in the past, he did put on his Facebook page, you know, it sounds mad. I sort of thought I might have been imagining it when I saw it. He said that he got a £4 million donation. That's what he said. I think it was 4 million. It was definitely in the millions, and it wasn't like 1.2 million. I think it was 4 million. That's what I remember seeing. And then probably 3 or 4 hours later, I looked again to sort of like think, did I see that? And it had gone. But I definitely saw it. I'm not mad, and other people have seen it. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that all of this stuff is all nonsense. They're all constantly lying, and it just gets deeper and deeper. You know, like what she doesn't realise is, and I've written to Danielle George personally before, like privately sort of thing, and I've said to her, look, you know, you've got children, and your children people will recognise you like their children's friends, things like that. But it will eventually come out. And all these lies that you've been telling, and all these pro-paedophile activists you've been hanging around with, who are all getting found out, you know, what are you actually going to gain from this? Because I said to her, look, the first time I seen you, within about a week, I decided she's bad news, and I started realising she was lying, and I said I was gonna get you off the internet. You can't be on the internet lying and deceiving people and cheating people. It's clear someone's trying to pay you or offering to give you money for this, that, and the other. Otherwise, you wouldn't be doing it. You think you're going to be famous. You know, I've told you, you know, it's not acceptable. You can't be cheating people. You're going to come under a lot of flack. And of course, her responses say, I'm not bothered, I'm not bothered, I'm not bothered. And then if somebody says to her something like, oh, what do you think about this thing? And she gets back to them saying, you're a ponce, you're a nonce, you're a pedo. I'm going to finish you and all this stuff. I mean, this is all incredibly unpleasant language, and I just don't really know what she hopes to achieve with it. So I've told her, I said, you know, like, you've got in with a bad crowd here. I don't think they're telling you the full story. I don't think that you understand what you're getting involved with. Because, I mean, can you imagine if you've got kids who are like, I don't know how old they are, but I think they're, you know, 10 and sort of maybe a bit younger. Probably maybe a bit older than that. But as they get to be teenagers, people are going to catch on, and they're going to be like, what does your mum do for a living? Oh, well, she used to cheat benefits and pretend to be an agoraphobic. Then she was scared of traffic lights, but she also went on holidays, and she keeps getting married all the time and divorcing them so she gets more money off the CSA. It's just going to completely destroy a large part of their life. They're going to completely have to disassociate with her, because she's just made a complete fool of it. And then it's like, oh yeah, she was working with that pro-paedophile activist, Ian Puddick. Oh yeah, the same one. Yeah, the one who got found out. And, you know, yeah, he's been working with the police, pretending he's a police activist. She's been working with him. She's been working with Bill Maloney, the one who was threatening to put child abuse images on people's computers who were victims of child abuse because he extorted money out of them, and they asked for it back, and they wanted their computer equipment back. And he's done that on more than one occasion, I've been told. You know, I mean, she's not going to be able to have other kids going around the house, that's for sure. She's not going to have, no one's going to want to have anything to do with them when they're sort of old enough to, you know, 18 or whatever. People's parents are still going to go, don't go around our house, you know, you can't be going around that. Even when you're over 18, your parents will be very iffy, and most people live at home when they're 18 nowadays, don't they still? They're not going to want them around there. The kids wouldn't go around there, obviously, of their own volition. So she's going to completely ostracise herself from her family. And I mean like a nuclear family, and she's just a fucking disaster. And I've told her this, and she just thinks she's still getting away with it. And I don't know what it is. It's almost like she's got away with like plucking people's eyebrows incorrectly a few times in the past, and she thought, oh fuck, I'm in trouble now. I'm going to lose my my kind of beautician's license or something, and or she's got a sort of some chavvy to sort of threaten the woman on the way out of Boots and said, right, that's it, if you tell anyone I'm going to bash you or something. That's the kind of level she's at. She's a criminal lowlife. She's got that criminal lowlife type mentality. And it's quite clear that she thinks she's going to be able to like threaten poor Debbie and Eddie of the Kent Freedom Movement. And I just, I don't know what with people like this. I mean, I gave her a COINTELPRO laxative playlist. I said, you're going down the pan. That's what's happening to you. You're going down there with all the Spivvies and all the Ian Puddicks and the Michael Doughertys, all these other scumbags. You're going to go down the pan. And she's like, I'm not bothered. And then she calls you all names and blocks everybody from all of her videos so they can't comment. And makes a Facebook page so the only people who can see it are people she's invited on it. Also, I'll add, Chris Spivvy made a video about 2 weeks ago, and it's got something like 5,000 views, and it's got, I think it's, give me a second here, one second, I think it's something like 10, where is it, sorry about this, yeah, it's only got 2,635 views, and it's got 5 comments. Now, when I looked at it and it had like 1,500 views, right, after about 3 days after it was up, it said that it had one comment. So they're manically disabling all the videos. Now, fair enough, Chris Spivvy was looking a complete state on there. He was mumbling and he was sweating loads. But fast forward half an hour in and look how much he's sweating, and he's mumbling even worse. At the start, there's this baby of his crying at the front rather than at the back, because obviously he wants donations. I've covered that in the video yesterday. He'd do anything for video. Now, if you had your daughter wanted to come down just because she wanted to go down for a spin in the car, and you're going to have to pay for parking and that anyway, whatever it is, I don't even know where the talk was, but I think it was in London. This idea of having a baby at the front, I don't know, probably, knowing them, they were probably fucking pinching the baby to make it cry. Actually, that's probably, I've just thought of that now. That's the kind of thing he'd do. He'd say, make it cry, make that little cunt cry. Yeah, that's it, I want my money, give me my money, I want money. That's probably what he's up to. Now, he said he wasn't drinking. He looks like he's on some kind of medication if he's not drinking. I mean, to be honest, he's a good advert for drinking if he's not drinking, because he should have just had a few drinks. And I'm sure all that sweating would have stopped, and it would have gone a lot more smoothly, because I know a lot of people have told me, a few people have said, yeah, I went to that, and apparently, I don't know if it's this talk or another talk that he did, it wasn't, but they said that some of them, they were charging £10 to get in. Obviously, I'm just surmising, but it will have been for him, he will have got that £10, won't he? And, yeah, so he's been charging £10, and people are just like, I can't even hear what he's saying from the back, and they just walked out. So, if you want to see his hilarious video, and it is pretty funny. I mean, there have been funnier videos on the internet, but it's called Chris Space Spivvy, Spivey, space, the space, Enigma of Lee Rigby, and informal talk. So if you look that up, and it's been uploaded by a guy called Richard Rowland. Anyway, so that's just what I've got to say about this. As I said, she's talking absolute rubbish. No solicitor will go near her with a barge pole. You can't sue someone for defamation or libel if you haven't got a name to protect. She goes around calling people all sorts of profanity all the time. She uses sexualised expletives and descriptive words to talk about people she doesn't like, or she doesn't even know them. She's just reading off a cue sheet, and she's reading like this, and it's obvious she's not even, doesn't even know what she's doing. It's not like she's talking about complicated stuff you'd need to read off a piece of paper. And then she's talking about like prostitutes, private parts and stuff like that. And then she's talking about child abuse. And you see, it's just not acceptable. A normal person would never do that. Because, of course, if someone actually had been abused, the last thing you want is Bill Maloney going and putting his arm around them and kissing them when they're at rallies about child abuse, when they're rape victims. Totally inappropriate. It's a form of bullying. It's sort of similar. I don't think she's doing it to be a bully. I think she's doing it because she's an imbecile. Well, we all know if we've got a fully functioning brain, that's what she's doing. But, you don't mix the two things together. There's certain times, you've got to be a little bit like a doctor when you're talking about certain things. You've got to be very calm and collected and, not sort of scare the shit out of the person who you're meant to be trying to help out. And also, of course, you've got to remember that it's all the people who know them. So, like, you know, if you're talking about a serious issue and she's saying I use humour, she's not funny. She's never used any humour. I mean, she is funny, but as they say in school, you know, the teachers say that we're laughing at her, not with her, you know. And it's a shame because, I mean, she's destroying her life. She is destroying her own life with these ridiculous videos she's putting up. As I said, she had the good sense to try and take one of them down, but a guy called Carlum, I think that was the username, or maybe George Greek Trucker had kept it up. So I retrieved it out of the toilet bowl because she thought I told her she'd gone. I retrieved it out of the toilet bowl, put it up on the internet, explained why she'd gone, but she still hasn't gone. And you know, Christmas is coming up, and she's obviously in a panic. And as I said, if you can imagine the amount of money she spends on wigs and cosmetics, right? It's coming up to Christmas now, and she's saying, "Oh, I mean, like, look, let's just." I know it's ridiculous, but let's just take her at her word. She's going to go and use her kids' Christmas money, and she's got this new boyfriend, apparently, people tell me. I can't get onto a page, so I wouldn't really be bothered anyway. But if you've got a new boyfriend and you want to go and do stuff, the last thing you want to be doing is going and suing somebody who's just told the truth about you, and using your own words to quote against you. At Christmas, you know, like, let's just take her at her word for a minute, how absolutely preposterous it is. She is such a disgusting, despicable bully, scratching herself, wearing a different wig for every video. What the fuck is she doing with all these fucking wigs and different, you know, makeup, loads and loads and loads and loads of makeup? It costs quite a lot, makeup does. She thinks she's great, so she won't be using cheap makeup. There's fucking loads of it, so she's using a lot of it. That should be spent on her children. That shouldn't be getting spent on her threats to, you know what I mean? Even saying she's going to do it is a low thing to do. Forget about the victims of it, the intended victims who think it's, I'm sure, extremely amusing, but they're probably very angry as well, I'd imagine. But that should be for her children. And let's say she's got a boyfriend who's got a bit of money, which, I don't know. Well, is she thinking, oh, fuck it, he can just spend all the money and I'll just waste all my kids' money on this? Or is she thinking, oh, well, I was going to buy them Christmas presents and that, but no, fuck it, I'm just going to sue these people for telling the truth about me because I made a complete arse of myself. Every day for the last 6 months, I've been swanning off all around the country. Nah, she's complete scum. Anyway, that's what I think about her. And I think if any solicitor takes this up and she hasn't shown them this video here, because as I said, I've been a lot more scathing about her, and I've been much more scathing about her on other occasions. I can't really, the depths of depravity with her, you know, they know no end, so it's quite difficult to cover it in a mere, fucking hell, it's coming up to half an hour. But anyway, I'd like to know what you think. I think people really at some stage are going to have to stop supporting her. I know not many people are supporting her, but there's all the proxies that they're using. So somebody's paying for all those proxies to constantly be calling me a pedo every day. You know, like, as I said, I get called a pedo so often now, every day. If I don't get called a pedo numerous times, I start like thinking something wrong with my eyes or that my computer's not working. So, you know, like, it's kind of, I'm going to have withdrawal symptoms when they all stop. So maybe, you know, maybe I should like, be careful what I wish for. But, yeah, I said threats of violence. You do not mix threats of violence, threatening to finish people, and calling everybody a pedo and using all sorts of foul language and using all sorts of things that will make you look like complete lowlife and then go and threaten to sue someone. You know, it's something, I mean, even a politician wouldn't do that. You know what I mean? It's so low. It's just quite incredible. Anyway, thanks very much. It's Sunday, the 15th of December, 2014. Happy Christmas, everybody, if I don't speak to you again. And just think of her children. She's got 2 little girls, and she's not threatening them, but she's threatening to use their Christmas money on harassing people with the legal system. That's what she's saying she's going to do. And, you know, I know she's not going to do it, but maybe she will. I don't know. She's a complete idiot, so who knows? I mean, I didn't think Spivvy'd been shagging his daughter when everyone thought he had, when he tattooed Daddy's girl on her. But he is fucking extremely unusual, isn't he? And, you know, maybe the social services actually are going to take his kids away, and maybe, well, possibly, it's looking like it's such a madhouse and they constantly lie all the time. Maybe they've got a very good reason. You know? You never know. I don't know. Because I don't believe a single word he said so far and he keeps contradicting himself. You know? So anyway, thanks a lot. I've been Tom. It's Sunday the 15th of December 2014. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.